Hi guys, this is Miss Schnee from St. Columba Middle School, and I'm here to talk to you today about how to write a good science fair introduction. You can find this video on my YouTube channel. You can always access it off my website. To get to my website, you want to go to stcolumbuschool.durango.org, click on Miss Schnee, and you'll find all kinds of helpful resources for science fair. Today's video, my objectives for you and for us is to remind you of the bigger picture of science fair. I know it's a 4-month-long project. For some of you, that starts to feel daunting, but we break it into chunks so it doesn't feel like so much work. I'm also going to introduce the format of your introduction, explain to you what goes into it and why and in what order. I'm also going to talk about the significance of taking notes and organizing your thoughts. Before any good writer writes a research paper, they have to research, organize their thoughts into notes, and then usually take those notes and organize them into some sort of logical format before they begin writing. I'll give you the proper structure for each of the paragraphs you're going to write, and I'll explain how and why we cite sources. So let's begin. Science fair, just a reminder, it all starts with you having an idea, making an observation, then taking that idea and asking a question. You'll perform a test, and then this is the most important part of what scientists do and what you'll be doing, which is reviewing and sharing your results. It's really important that scientists explain what they've found out and what they've discovered to the rest of the community. Other scientists can then read that and build upon their research and lead to progression in their fields, and that's what you'll be doing with your introduction. It'll be you introducing your topic and explaining to the world what you're doing and why. Throughout science fair, you'll work on several small projects that come together to form the bigger final science fair product. Today's video is about making your introduction. From there, we'll write procedures. We'll also look at our results after we test, and then we'll come up with a formal conclusion about what we discovered. At the end of each of these sections, you'll have to include citations, explaining what information you used, where you got it, and how it was helpful. So let's get to the introduction. That's what we're working on now. You've come up with your project. You think you know what you're going to do. But before you go too far, the introduction's here to kind of remind you that you have some research to do. You're going to have to explain 3 basic things in your introduction, and that's why I call it 3-paragraph introduction. The first paragraph should be introducing your topic and its significance, explaining to the reader or to the judges or to the community why you chose your topic and why it's important. This can be where you include background information that people might not know about your topic. Paragraph 2 includes all the variables you're going to be testing specifically and why you chose to focus on them instead of other variables. And then your final paragraph, paragraph 3, is going to explain all the research that led you to your hypothesis, which is your prediction of what results you expect to see. Before you write your introduction, the most important thing you're going to do is take some notes. I'd encourage you to make your notes 5 words or less. The reason we say 5 words or less is it allows you to summarize, get to the main points, and most importantly, it saves you from plagiarizing. By having to get ideas that other people have come up with into your own words in 5 words or less, you really eliminate the potential for copying their words. When you take notes, you can do this digitally or in your science lab notebooks. I'd like you to write at the top of each page the source you're getting the information from, whether that's a URL on a website or the name of a journal article or book or the name of a person you're interviewing. Before you take the notes, go ahead and jot down where you're getting the information from. This will help you later when you need to cite every source you use to write your final introduction. Once you have a good set of notes and you feel like your notes are going to lead you to have enough information to write your 3 paragraphs, I'd like you to use some sort of graphic organizer to organize your notes into complete thoughts and organized thoughts. You can get graphic organizers off of my website or from any of your language arts teachers and myself. Okay, so you've taken your notes, you've organized your notes into a good graphic organizer, and you think you're ready. I just want to remind you before you begin writing that good paragraph format begins with a topic sentence, has 3 to 4 sentences of supporting details, and then wraps up with a conclusion. Citing sources. As you did your research and you took your notes, you should have been writing down each source as you used it. At the end of your introduction, you'll have to do what's called a bibliography. What you'll do is you'll just start a new page within the same document you'll be working on. At the top, you'll title it Annotated Bibliography, and this is where you're going to list every single source you used. The reason we do this is because it's really important to give credit to all the people who have done work before you that led you to your ideas. Also, it's illegal to not give them credit. It's called plagiarizing. So be sure to make sure you keep track of your sources. You'll write them all down in what's called an MLA format. You can go to Google or EasyBib to read more about MLA format, but that's just the format we use to give credit to each source. That format tells us what order we list things in and what things we need to include. Annotation. We're doing an annotated bibliography, and that means after each source that you cite, I need 1 to 2 sentences explaining exactly what information you got from that source. If you need help citing your sources, EasyBib is a really great website. There you'll find information about how to cite sources, why to cite them, and what format to do so in. And you can access EasyBib off of my webpage. Before you turn in your introduction, the final thing you need to do is proofread. I recommend reading out loud. A lot of times we catch our mistakes by simply saying them out loud. Look for grammar and spelling errors and consider having a parent, family member, friend read your paper before you hit submit. Well, there you have it. That's writing your introduction. So now what your job is to do is to go out and reflect on what your introduction's purpose is. Look at the format of the introduction. I've included this in Google Classroom as well. Make sure you know what you have to put in there before you start researching. Then take notes about the major topics of each paragraph and record the source that you got the information from. Then organize your notes using a graphic organizer or letters and bullets. Then lastly, write your paragraphs using the correct paragraph structure. Introduction, supporting detail, conclusion. In that same document, cite all your sources on a separate page and include annotations. There you go. That's Science Fair Introductions. Good luck. I hope you have fun.